Right now, I'm the operations chief, and the operations chief for the engineers do a lot of the planning and the pre-planning. I always say by the time I show up for a weekend reserve duty, that my job for that weekend is already done, and I'm already planning for the next weekend or the next month or several months out. So it's a lot of pre-planning, figuring out what the job is going to be. Marines, they think of probably the demolition phase of engineering that we typically do. So we do a lot of explosives, dynamic destruction, as well as building. So a lot of people think of the demolitions that we do first off before they think of the building that we can also do. Deconstruction is just the demolition or tearing down of a structure. In Iraq in 2004, outside of the large air base that we were on, there was a small village. So instead of going out there with all this heavy equipment and trucks and all the support personnel, we just set up explosives around these buildings and just detonated it at the blink of an eye and got rid of it that way instead of taking several days to do it, because you're out in outside the wire, they call it. You're off the base, and it's it's the middle of Iraq, so you wanted to get out and come back in. In 2004, we actually were named Engineer Company of the Marine Corps that year for the job that we did in Iraq. So we actually got to go to several countries in a number of years to do building of schoolhouses and hospitals, road and infrastructure repairs. So some of the humanitarian missions that we did were in Belize, Dominican Republic, Honduras, Peru. A lot of people don't think of that aspect of combat engineering also. Going to Belize was an adventure in itself. It's a beautiful country, again a third world country. A lot of things that we take for granted here, just even running water. I can walk to the bathroom just down the hallway and turn on the faucet and have a glass of water. It was interesting to experience and humbling to see how other countries survive and what their day-to-day life is like. Honduras, I think that was my first humanitarian trip that I had made to do something like this. So it was an experience in itself, but it was the most rewarding too, because it was smack dab in the middle of a community, and the houses were all around it. So in the morning they would cook us breakfast, outside of their houses, and we would pay them for it. So to integrate with the community and to be within the community all day, every day for weeks on end was also a pretty rewarding experience. We first went there early on in the project. They gave us a tour of the schools that we saw, and when we walked into it, it was humbling to see. We get a tropical storm, the rain would come through and it would blow all the papers everywhere. Rain spray would be coming through the classroom, getting the papers wet, and even the chalkboard wet, so it would get everything wet. And we figured this is a pretty poor school that we're looking into. And here, this was the technical vocation school, so this is where the kids that are going to college go. So this is their premier school. So to see that, I was like, wow, this is pretty much the best that they have to offer in this town. And we're going to do so much better. We're going to make a much better facility for them. I think some of the most memorable experiences I had too was with the kids as they come by, just interacting with them. And like I said, we had nicknames for them, and as they came by, we would chat with them. How was your day at school? And they're trying to learn English as well, and I speak very little Spanish, so they would try to speak English with us, and I would throw in a few Spanish words that I would know, and they would laugh because I wouldn't pronounce it right or the accent wasn't right. But it was a lot of fun to interact with the kids and the adults as well. But being able to interact with the community and build something that's sustaining in nature is actually one of the most rewarding parts of doing the humanitarian missions.